Welcome in, everybody, to fifth quarter extra. Simone Eli alongside Pat O'Donnell filling in for Gerhard Mathangani this evening. If you watched us on fifth quarter just a little bit ago, I should probably stop this music, Pat, although I kind of enjoy it, honestly, in the background. That was kind of dramatic, honestly.
That gets me fired up.
Yeah, it should, absolutely. Pat is the guy that really makes all the magic happen behind the scenes, guys. He's constantly working on our digital show, and we decided to put him right here into the spotlight. Literally, we have lights. He's in the spotlight. His name's Pat. He, if you watched our fifth quarter show on the air, you saw that G-Money was not on the air. Peter Albrecht filled in, and he was fantastic.
Pete is unbelievable at his job. That's a guy I'm always going to go to advice for about anything.
Honestly.
Sports-related, news-related.
Life-related. I mean, doesn't he? Yeah, he is the best.
It literally does not matter. And
it's like riding a bike for him.
You know, shout out to Gerhard. He's marrying people.
He's officiating weddings. I mean, it's just like we have just talent all over the board here at News 5. So without further ado, guys, we're going to talk week 4 of the high school football season. And this an opportunity week, really, for a lot of teams to be able to take the upper hand in region play. And man, if I can pick them, I can pick them, because game of the week out at Ladd Stadium, Citronelle up against Williamson. We're going to get right into those highlights because this one went down to the wire. A great atmosphere out at Ladd Stadium. It was homecoming for Williamson. Both of these teams undefeated, Pat, and when you come into this game, you know, so much momentum. Ellis McGaskin here, and it was a slow start for both these teams because they've put up a boatload of points in the first 3 weeks, and then Ellis McGaskin gets the Wildcats or the Lions on the board here, 6-0. The defense held it down early on. They would take a 12-0 lead here on that touchdown pass. So really rolling offensively, just a couple possessions into the game. But credit to Citronelle, they did not go anywhere. You see here, this is Dalen Edmonds extending the play with his feet. You see him do that all the time. Finds James Reed for the touchdown. And so at that point, we're looking at a one-possession ball game. But in the final minute of the first half, take a look at this. It's Alvin Dinkins to John Austin, the double pass dialed up by offensive coordinator Marcus Cook. He hits John Austin, Willie Maddox. Austin hits Maddox for the double pass, a huge gain down to the 20, and then it's Dinkins to Keith Donald. That right there made it 20-6 at the break. So really, it seemed as though Williamson had all the momentum, everything going for him, and Citronelle, coached by Jason Rowell, who's our coach of the week from a week ago, just chipped away. This game was into overtime. And then, of course, the dramatic finish that you were following for us before we went on the air.
Yeah, so, I mean, it looked like this game was over.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we saw Citronelle fight back. And literally till on the last play, they extended the game.
Yep.
And it took an extra point, and they were like, all right, we're going overtime. 23-yard, I believe, a touchdown pass on the last play of the game. And, I mean, again, two young coaches.
Ice in his veins, man. Yeah.
Two young coaches who are still, like, building, and I would say but they're both in year 3, I believe.
Yeah, and the thing about both these coaches, too, is that they're both alums of the school. And so you know that there's that extra passion. You know, Jason Rowell is from Citronelle. And so when you're from Citronelle, when you play for Citronelle, you wear those colors yourself, you know, you have an extra sense of pride. And then, of course, Antonio Coleman, the head coach at Williamson, he's been a part of the program on the staff for the better part of 8 years, almost a decade, I think. And, of course, now in year 3 as head coach. And so, yeah, I mean, you know that there's going to be an extra sense of pride. And, of course, Williamson goes on to win this game 28-26. Was the final score. And did you see how this one actually played out? And be sure to reach us in the comments, guys, whether you're, you know, either side of this game or if you just heard about the final, because when we're here, you know, juggling 25 games, we're trying to figure out what all is going down to the wire, what all has happened. So if you know, give us a heads up on how exactly this one went down, but dramatic nonetheless. And, man, just a really, really great effort for sure from both the Wildcats and the Lions. Expect both of these teams to be playoff contenders, which neither one of them have heard in a little bit of a minute. So that would be very, very cool for both teams in 5A Region 1.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, and it's funny, looking back at the comments from last week in Facebook, there was a lot of trash talk going into this game. I'm from both sides, and both teams had absolutely their right to talk trash. Right? I mean, we saw a great game tonight.
They're excited. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, if you like high school football, you talk a little trash. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes, guys. Yeah. Another big one. We're going to move to Class 6A. Saraland and Spanish Fort. This game has traditionally been the top 2 teams in this class, and you know that Saraland is such a power. That's exactly what they were. This is Dylan Alfred, the Ole Miss commit. KJ Lacey connects with Alfred on three touchdown receptions in the first half. And I mean, listen, it's not like they're playing chumps here. I mean, Spanish 4, look at this pass. I mean, dude, I mean that's incredible. Let's replay this because we have the technology to do so. But it's not like the Toros aren't incredibly impressive as well, and yet you have KJ Lacey going to Texas, this guy going to Ole Miss, and connecting on stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, KJ's unbelievable. It's really incredible to see. Who knew that there was going to be another step that he could take in his game after just being so dominant over the past couple of seasons? But coming out of last year, losing in the state title game, I think there's an extra chip on his shoulder to prove a little bit more. And then, of course, you have Ryan Williams stepping out. So it's like that much more of a challenge for him to just be the absolute best he can and be the leader of this team. And time again, you see him step up the way he does. And more and more, it looks like he's going to be able to, when he goes to Texas eventually, it's going to be really interesting to see how he develops because he could probably start for some college teams right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. And he can extend the play with his feet. We've seen him do that. I think a lot of people questioned what his ability was going to be when Ryan Williams left because Ryan Williams is such a huge talent. But, so Saraland wins this game. Someone asked me just who wins. We should probably tell you who wins the game. Saraland dominated that game, I should say. 42-17 was the final, the victory over Spanish Fort. So Saraland has really played also. Pete made a great point about this in the show. They've played some of their toughest competition, or at least the people they expect to be the toughest. They beat Gulf Shores. They beat a Jackson non-region game to open the year, but two of your maybe strongest region opponents in Gulf Shores and in Spanish Fort. So you have to be feeling pretty good about where you are right now if you're Jeff Kelly and the Spartans.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're able to come into a season like that and play, again, like you said, maybe their toughest opponents of the season. I mean, you start the season against Jackson with Landon Duckworth, who is incredible. I mean, there's a reason he had a play of the week.
We're going to talk about him in just a minute, too.
Yeah, I mean, he is an incredible player. And for them to kind of, I mean, that was a war of a game, I would say. I mean, that one went down to the wire. But, again, for them to play some of their most difficult teams, again, Gulf Shores, even though Gulf Shores is, and we'll get to them in a little bit here, but Gulf Shores is struggling this year. But still, that's a championship program.
Yeah.
And for them to go out there and dominate the way they did.
Good point.
And, of course, it was a weird game with all the weather and stuff like that. But
very weird.
Yeah, but I mean, Saraland coming out and already really looking in mid-season form. I'm sure the coaches would probably tell you we've got a lot of work to do. But I mean, for them to come out and play some of the most difficult teams in our region and in our area, I mean, kudos to them. I mean, they're ready to roll. And again, they have after losing the state title last year, coming down to the wire, just again, game of inches, game of yards. And they've got an extra chip on their shoulder for sure.
They definitely do. Let's move to UMS Wright. I know I see Sean checking in on UMS Wright. I kept an eye on this one, guys, because I wanted to see what it was going to look like. Make no mistake, revenge on the mind for Viger. After what occurred last year, Viger, of course, won this game on the field. And then Viger was left out of the playoffs due to an eligibility issue. And they came out rolling on offense. No problem here. Sammy Dunn connecting with his receiver. That was DeAndre Chambers breaking through the defense there. And then UMS trying to get it going offensively. Quarterback Max Fowler trying to look for Thomas Portici, but he gets picked off by Antonio Kelly. Remember, if you know that name, he was a 3A linebacker of the year last year at Mobile Christian. Now he's doing big things over at Viger. And then later, I mean, Dunn, man, just getting it done. Sammy Dunn here connecting with his receiver. This is Brisker, a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch, and then to stay in bounds, man. Like, what more could you ask for there? But Viger was up in the first quarter, 13-0. Then they go on to win this game 30-14. So, listen, I didn't think this was going to be a close game, if I'm being just totally honest with you. I thought that Viger would run away with this game. And so the fact that Terry and the Bulldogs were able to chip away, hang in there a little bit, and keep it close, I mean, within a two-possession game, tells me something about the Bulldogs that, listen, maybe they are there as the 3 or the 4 in this region, 10 weeks or 10, less than 10 now, but 7 weeks from now. Because I'm not sure they lost a lot of talent. Joe Law, I mean, the Bulldogs lost a lot of guys there on both sides, and Viger is absolutely rolling. So I really thought this game could have gotten out of hand, but I still think Viger is probably one of if not the most talented team in 5A. We'll see how it shakes out, of course, with Williamson. That's going to be a fun one for sure. Citronell's in the mix as well. And so, but nonetheless, I think that if you're both sides, Viger and UMS coming out of this game, you're feeling good about where you stand 4 weeks into the year.
I think when it comes to UMS, I think just looking off scores alone this season, I think that their main focus should be on the offensive side of the football moving forward, trying to improve there. I think the fact that their defense only held Viger to 30 points, I think, is tippable. I mean, most teams can't even keep them under, 50?
Well, again, and Terry texted me and kind of, took a shot at, because I did my L.com picks, and I picked BC Reign to beat them last week, and they shut out BC Reign 15-0. And so, again, it's not like UMS is out of the mix. I just poorly underestimated what the Bulldogs were capable of. And now they're, 2-1 in the region, and they lost to arguably the best team in the region and possibly a state championship contender in Viger and McKenzie and Dunn. And they have every piece they could possibly need or want.
And that's what you talk about, Viger being a potential title contender, state championship contender. I mean, before this season, I think just so many moves, and when it comes to coaching and when it comes to players as well transferring in, I think that changed everything for them. And I don't think a lot of people, maybe 6 months ago, when we were talking 33 teams, I don't know if 33 teams in 33 days, I don't know if we were talking about Viger as a state title contender. Couple moves go their way, dominoes fall, and here they are, and we're talking about them maybe making a state title run. So,
again, the last time that John McKenzie was the coach at Viger, that's what they did 3 years ago. So we'll see if that ends up in the blue map again. Let's head over to 6A at the Lip here in Mobile. This game got moved. McGill and Gulf Shores going head-to-head. Of course, this game was supposed to be at Gulf Shores, but we know what the field looked like in that Saraland game, and then they couldn't make it recover. So here you see McGill-Tulin driving, and what a beautiful pitch and catch here by the Yellow Jackets to get some scoring going. Shout out to Andrew Murchison and Ladarian Miller, about untouched into the end zone. But Gulf Shores on the road, battling some injuries. Mark Husbeth has these boys doing exactly what they need to do. And check out this play, man. This is impressive here. Carter Davis says, I'll take that. And I had to actually replay this. Watch this. Okay, I'm going to slow this down. Because I was like, okay, did he throw it behind him? Is this a poorly thrown ball? I'm not going to sit here and try to be some quarterback whisperer, but I can tell you this is an incredible read on the ball. Watch this. Boom, right in front of, that was a great heads-up play there by Carter Davis for Gulf Shores. Snatches it out of there. Then, if you're going to put Gulf Shores in the red zone, you might as well just go ahead and give them 7, because you got this guy right now playing Wildcat, and nobody's stopping Colin Wilson to the tune of 4 touchdowns and 200 yards. And Gulf Shores goes on to get this victory in 6A Region 1 play. Let's find the final score there, 28-10. Colin Wilson balling out, and honestly, got to give credit to the young man, because his situation, of course, where the quarterback has been injured for Gulf Shores, he's been able to go in there and not only be good, but great at times. We saw him against MGM a couple weeks ago. Last week, when you can't even find your footing, against Gulf Shores, and that foot, that's crazy, a torrential downpour that we were seeing. It was kind of funny because we were at McGill-Tulin giving our Player of the Week award out this past week, and Coach Faulkner said, maybe I should have left this game at Gulf Shores, because then I wouldn't have given Colin Wilson a dry field to work on. And, well, he had 4 touchdowns today.
I don't know if a dry field was going to stop him either way. Dry, wet, I don't think it mattered. They're fully committed to pounding the rock.
Yeah,
and
have to be right now.
Yeah, right now they're just in a spot where they have to. And credit to Gulf Shores. Again, championship program a year ago.
Yeah.
And then
thrust into the best region.
Best region, moving up, and you start 0-3. Confidence is shot. It's very quick, especially
start
for
pointing
guys,
fingers
for guys that age to just fall apart and just kind of crumble. And
Such a good point, Pat. Yeah.
And they came back fighting, and they came again on the road again, a game that wasn't supposed to be on the road. You're throwing another curveball their way. And they they're facing so much adversity, and for them to grab a win tonight, credit to them. And again, a 3-score win at that too. Credit to Gulf Shores, and they are just pounding the rock. It doesn't matter. They're just saying we're gonna just stop us.
They're going to commit to the run. Yep.
Good luck.
No doubt. Great points. If you're just tuning in, this is fifth quarter extra. Simone Eli alongside Pat O'Donnell filling in for Gerhard Mathangani, week 4 of the high school football season. And I really like to call this Opportunity Week. This is where you kind of start to figure out who's going to be in the top half of the region, who's going to be in the bottom half of the region, and you start to separate yourself. Are you going to be a playoff contender? And yes, I know it is only week 4, but yes, that's how quickly these things start to really take shape. So if you're just tuning in, be sure to continue with the conversation here. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Billy, hey Dwayne. Thank you guys so much for your comments. If you're on Facebook, please keep the comments coming. And listen, if you also have an update, something that we haven't mentioned yet, let us know, because we're still getting scores in. Everything is just kind of, we just take it as we can here. We lots of different things nonstop with high school football, ever changing here. Want to shout out Orange Beach. How about the Makos and Coach Wade Waldrop getting it done here against W.S. Neal. Going to get to these highlights right now. The Makos at home. And listen, man, it's been a few down seasons for the Makos. It's been a minute since they've been able to put up, 42 points, because listen, that was the final, 42-31. If you're Wade Waldrop, you're feeling pretty great about life right now, because check out these offensive plays. I mean, this does not look like a team that, hasn't put up a ton of points in most recent. And you got a guy in a hat like that. Like, what more could you ask for? You see that dude's hat? Did you miss that? Look at this. Look at this guy's hat. This is shark bait. Ooh ha ha. If you guys watch, Finding Nemo, the reference on this. But check this guy, check that head out. I love that.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Love the pride.
So going back to the beginning of these highlights here, we got the script pulled up. Blake Brunick here, that was number 5.
It's a big dude.
Yeah, he is a big guy running it right. And then all right, Joel Chandler. Nice reception here. I mean, they've got some big old boys there down at the beach.
Whatever
OBA.
Wade's feeding those guys.
Man, that's what happens when you get in the weight room a little bit. And then here's Andrew Beck punching it in. These guys look like they come out of like the tight end factory over here. Like, look at this. It's like
my goodness.
Big old, I don't know what the numbers are on these guys, but they got some pretty talented dudes down there.
We might have to give Orange Beach a call, see what's going on down there.
Eating their weenies.
Yeah, goodness gracious. They are getting after it.
And look at this here. All right. John McAlpine. You got to be impressed here with what Orange Beach is able to do. And look at that atmosphere. Listen, man, shout out to Orange Beach fan base, because they packed the house, and that's what high school football is all about. Whether you have a team that has won state titles every single year, whether you have had down years, when you can have a fan base out like that, you're going to have people fired up, excited. You're going to have a team that goes out there week in and week out and puts together their best effort. So shout out to Orange Beach for just supporting their guys through the adversity, through a coaching change, through the ups and downs of what a season entails, and then to help pull out that win there against WS Neal at home.
Yeah, and again, 42 points, first-year head coach. Of course, he's had plenty of experience elsewhere.
Sure.
But to come into a program and really, I'm sure he had an idea of what to expect, but 42 points in any game is something that you are absolutely going to hang your hat on and go into the next week with the utmost confidence. Now, sure, they gave up, 30-plus, but you're still looking at that game and saying, hey, we scored a heck of a lot of points there, and we will absolutely build on that going into the next week. Yep,
staying in region, let's take a trip to Satsuma here, and you guys might know this face. This is Phillip Rivers, and this is Phillip Rivers' son. His name is Gunnar. Well, for good reason, because Gunnar Rivers can throw the deep ball.
Anyone named Gunnar, by the way,
he was destined to be a quarterback,
you have to play quarterback.
Yeah.
If your name's Gunnar and you're playing any other position or you're not playing football, I'm sorry. You got to play football. You got to be a quarterback.
He did not have a choice. That was Gunnar Rivers. That first touchdown was to Tucker Tomlinson. Tucker Tomlinson, I should say. Then that was Noah Moss, looking like Randy Moss, if you ask Pete. That's what he said on the show. That was absolutely hilarious. Then how about this? The Cardinals getting it done defensively as well. Here's Camardre Lavoie. Interception there by Braxton Boyd. And so a great returned there. And man, if you're St. Michael, you're feeling pretty good about life, because this is a program that's only existed for a very short second, and they're a top 10 ranked program. And Phillip Rivers, Gunnar Rivers, the key pieces that they have on the outside at receiver, on defense. I mean, this looks like it could be a well-oiled machine going into the bulk of their schedule.
Absolutely. I mean, they have continued to improve, and their offense is just so high potent.
Yep.
I mean, they can practically do whatever, and Gunnar's got a gun on him.
Yeah,
so,
he definitely does.
I mean, it is pretty incredible to watch him throw the rock around.
Yep. All right, still to come here on Fifth Quarter Extra. We're going to take a trip to LaFleur, MGM, Foley, Baker, and Theodore, guys. So hang with us. We have a few Thursday night games to take a look at. But I want to shout out to the LaFleur Rattlers and Coach Renardo Jackson. Look at, man, they're fired up, getting ready for this one here. And you got Faith Academy coming into town. No problem for the Rattlers. And it's been a minute since I've been able to say that, but check this out. Here's Joseph Robinson hitting Demetrius Toney. This is one of our Play of the Week options, guys. You can go to our website and vote for that right now. Watch the effort by Toney here. I got to believe he's got some relation to Kadarius Toney. I'm just going to guess that. But he literally does like a 180 turnaround, backwards into the end zone, spikes the ball. Man, he shouldn't. I don't know if he got flagged for the spike, but he earned that for sure.
100%.
Then they go to the ground. It's Jamarcus Edmond bouncing to the outside. And LaFleur gets the win, 26-21 over Faith Academy. And listen, man, Faith is down right now. We've talked about this for a couple weeks now. This is not something that they're used to. They lost a lot of guys late in the year. They have a new head coach who is a proven winner. It's going to take a second. Faith fans, like, the wheels aren't falling off. It's not like this is not going to be turned around. Meanwhile, if you're LaFleur Rattler, you're feeling pretty excited about a very significant region win.
Absolutely. LaFleur, I mean, especially for LaFleur coming off such a brutal loss a week ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they got absolutely dominated by Viger.
Yeah.
And to come back and then get a gritty win tonight,
Yep.
I mean, that means everything.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say there's too much to hang your hat on about if you're Faith either. I mean, I think you're setting the tone for the program.
Yeah.
If you're that coaching staff right now, and for them to fight for 60 or not 60 minutes, but
we can say 60
for 4 quarters at least.
However long it is they play.
I mean, they're fighting for all 4 quarters.
Yeah, and listen, Coach Speakman has coached high-level football in this state for decades. The guy is very, very good at what he does, and when you have a roster changeover like they did after spring practice in the middle of summer, and listen, man, y'all guys want to go. I mean, people might think that I have something against guys wanting to transfer out of programs. No, just do it the right way. You want a family decision, you and your parents make that choice, or you can go graduate early. I mean, I've heard all of the things. Just do it the right way. Don't break the rules. Don't allow third-party handlers. Don't allow all the things that you see in high school football nowadays and all that crap going on. But you want to go, okay, go somewhere. But do it the right way. The timing, not ideal. And so when you have somebody like Eric Speakman who comes in and trying to build around your key pieces, and your key pieces aren't there come fall, I mean, yeah, of course they're going to struggle. What the heck do you think? You know?
No, it's a very similar way that college football is right now, too. I mean, you're seeing guys who are entering the portal in the spring cycle, and that drives coaches crazy. And I know for a fact it drives coaches at this level too crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's so difficult when, again, you work with a team, you're in the weight room, you're trying to build, especially for a first-year staff, you're trying to build your culture and bring guys together and not force them, but push them to believe in you and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then the rug is pulled under you because some guy wants to go to another school. And again, there's the right time to do it. And I would say, if anything, that's going to be going into that spring semester rather than, again,
afterwards, certainly.
After spring football.
Yeah. I want to quickly get some of these comments really quick. T.R. Miller pulls off a huge win. I have had that score in the show. Does it remain undefeated? Of course, they are ranked number 1. And you got to be proud if you are T.R. Miller. They beat down Flomaton, I should say, 56-7 in 3A Region 1 as they stay undefeated on the year. And we appreciate the mention here from Dwayne. He says that next week, T.R. Miller and Hillcrest Evergreen should be everyone's game of the week. Not only a rivalry, but also a couple undefeated. So Yeah, we'll definitely be there for that one. Love that. Absolutely. Folks asking about our game of the week, Williamson and Citronelle. We went over that one off the top of the show. And listen, man, Citronelle folks, Williamson folks, I mean, you got to take it for what it is because the Lion fans are going to do a little bit of chattering.
Again.
And they deserve it. I mean, that's high school sports,
absolutely.
Right? I mean, and what an incredible effort by both teams.
Oh my gosh! I mean, down to the wire again. 2-point
literally beyond the wire
in overtime, and a missed PAT or a blocked PAT, I believe that was the difference in this game. I mean, came down to the wire in the last play of regulation. I mean, it looked like Citronelle was done. I mean, I was trying to follow the game as closely as I could. And I was like, oh, Williamson's got this, no problem.
Yeah, next thing you know, it's in overtime.
Out of nowhere, you guys are
starting
the 10
yelling at you. I'm like,
show,
Pat, I got to know what's happening with I'm literally starting the show. And Pat is really like our brains behind the scenes. Him, Kendra Day, several other folks working behind the scenes to make our show, Fifth Quarter, that goes on at 10 o'clock, just really make it happen. I mean, we're just out there, hoping for the best when it comes. Pete did a great job filling in today, too, but... So we got that update literally in real time. I was like, guys, what is happening? We started the show.
You started it, and that's when I ran in there. I was up or refreshing Twitter.
Yep.
And I forget who was live tweeting the game, and I was like, I had a feeling it was coming in. And I was like, maybe they'll have one here. And right as they were getting going with the fifth quarter, I was like, oh, my God, we have a score.
Yeah, we have a score. There you go. All right, guys, let's jump up to 7A. Okay, MGM's a problem, y'all. MGM is the truth. So shout out to Zach Golson, first of all, because look at this field design. That's beautiful.
Awesome.
That's a beautiful field. That is a beautiful field.
Yeah.
And this is beautiful football that you're about to watch because MGM is not a one-trick pony. MGM is not a one-season pony. They're here to stay, it appears, because check this out as they play Robertsdale. And a very excited and high-spirited, for good reason, Robertsdale team, one of the best starts that they've had in a very long time with a couple of wins. But that right there, I don't have these highlights, or I don't have the...
love the pooch kick, by
yeah,
the way.
man, but except for that it goes, that you don't love it if you're the Golden Bears, that's for sure.
Hey, I will say I'm a been believer in what Chris Bell is doing. But
oh yeah, I mean of course, and Chris Bell, I mean that's the head coach at Robertsdale. He's been a proven winner in very, very tough classifications. And so when you go back to the beginning of these highlights, I just pulled up this script that we have. Some of these things happen in real time, friends. But this is Jakenyan. I don't have a last name. Vikings Jakenyan. Wish we had a last name on that one. This is what
I believe you do. Let me pull it up somewhere.
Great effort here. This is one of our plays of the week. And if you go watch how this play aired in real time, it was actually kind of great because Pete did the most reading the script. That was amazing. Ensuing kickoff. This is Jaden Smith on the recovery. So really heads up play there by MGM. And then, of course, Shondell Harris is going to hit DeMarcus Broughton. We've seen that connection a time or two. And that's Jakenyan Allen, by the way. That was Jakenyan Allen getting it done there on the touchdown run to make it 7-0. Later, Shondell Harris. Guys, this is a guy who, supposedly was not a quarterback this offseason, and he looks pretty quarterback-like to me because he can do just about everything you want him to do.
Stepping up in the pocket like that?
Yeah, stepping up in the pocket and finds Collier on that one for another touchdown. MGM wins huge, 41-3. That's no knock on what Robertsdale has been able to accomplish and already done this year, but MGM is just a well-oiled machine, and you have to respect what Zach Golson has been able to build there in a very, very, very short time.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, especially considering all that they lost.
Yeah.
I mean, no one. I personally did not have the most wild of expectations for this team. I thought certainly, again, they're a team that looks like a championship program last year.
Yeah.
Can they continue that going into 2024? And it looks like they haven't skipped a beat. So, and again, another big win tonight. I'm a very big believer in Chris Bella over at Robertsdale ever since you guys covered him for 33 teams back in May.
I covered him for the last 7 years when he was up there in over the mountain schools.
Oh, of course. But once he got to Robertsdale and you guys were boots on the ground over there, I was like, this guy's got a future. And, again, Robertsdale, nothing to hang your hat on. This is a great team that you're going up against.
Sure.
of course you want to win every game, right? But it's just not that easy, especially where we're playing right now.
Shout out to Quentin Russell for tuning in once again this week. Appreciate your support. And he says, South Alabama commit Jaden Smith. He reminds us, yes, MGM has Division I talent all over the field. And shout out to the Jags, by the way, for setting the Sun Belt Conference record in points.
Oh my gosh!
And I think they had like a 6-minute running clock in the fourth quarter too. I was trying to balance like chasing a toddler and also watching that game last night.
I want to say they scored 80 in 3 quarters, and Gerhard was the one who came out last night and was like, "Guys, are you seeing the score of this game?"
Yeah,
and we're like, "What are you talking about?"
Getting it done on all cylinders.
Yeah, major shout out to them.
No doubt. Staying in 7A over Daphne and Foley going head to head here. Daphne, I think, is going to be absolutely a contender, no doubt. They've already lost to MGM, but they've won every other region game. They won tonight against Foley. That was a great pitch and catch there. I want to pull up our script here in just a moment, but great pitch and catch there by Foley's Nelson Thompson to Caden Adams. And then later, this is Jalen Thibodeau, quarterback for Daphne. He's going to connect with LeBraylon Coleman. I just love this. He throws like back the opposite direction, running one way, throws back the other way.
Keeping his eyes down the field.
Yeah, just really, really great heads-up play there. Daphne gets the win, 36-14. A good win, a really good win. Foley, I mean, let's not forget, Foley's only a couple of years removed from winning 7A Region 1, and so shout out to Daphne for getting it done. It appears that whereas MGM is definitely the team to beat, Daphne is probably 2. Mm-hmm. So,
Which I don't know if did you expect Daphne to be the second team to beat in this region?
Well, I can tell you. I mean, I know that the way that Kenny King was talking, I think I felt good about it. I mean,
that's true.
He was returning like his entire defense. I think they were just looking for a couple pieces. You know, how was going to shake out a little bit on the offensive side, and I mean, I think they have more than enough when it comes to both sides of the ball to get it done, and we've been able to see that take place for sure. But let's not forget the Baker Hornets. Juan Johnson also wanting to say hello. We can also be in the conversation. Of course, Baker kicked things off for Week 4 on Thursday night up against Jackson, number 1 team in 4A, and this year Tate Graham. I
want to say it's Tate Graham.
I think I went back and forth. At least I'm not calling him Jameer Lett, okay? Because I did that for 2 weeks because they have people that have several numbers on the same team. But nonetheless, pick 6 there, though. Jackson doing things on both sides of the ball. Crowell here getting the extra yardage. And then one of our plays of the week, Landon Duckworth. This dude is so money, man. I'm just telling you right now. Look at this. Elusiveness says, oof,
He's
bye.
Incredible.
And then he goes, boom. I mean, okay, first of all, he is incredibly tall, and he is like a well-built young man. Like, there's no doubt about that. But that's still a quarterback, you know?
Yeah.
That's still a quarterback lowering his shoulder and getting into the end zone. So that definitely earned one of our play of the week options because, man, that was a great play there by the future Division I quarterback, wherever he ends up wanting to go.
That's the other thing. It's like he knows he has a future at the next level.
Yeah, he knows he's good.
And he doesn't care. He's going to lower his shoulder and say,
That's the thing about Jackson, man. I love the city of Jackson. City? Town? Whatever. It's a city. It's like a big city. It's like a small city, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the Aggies are so proud of their program, and, man, they just have ballers over there. All of them are loyal to where they come from. They just want to, like, put on for their city.
Absolutely.
Their town.
Yeah. City, town.
I'm from a village.
County?
Where I'm from, they call it the Village of Genoa. That's in Ohio, so whatever. I mean, whatever it is that you are, Jackson, you dang good at football, okay? And so that's all that matters. And huge win for Jackson because though Baker doesn't have like the proven success more recently, it's still a 7A program. Mm-hmm. And also, I mean, to Baker, I know that Juan Johnson probably wasn't the one that scheduled this game because I don't know what the timing was for when he got here really and if the contracts were done or not, but still, I mean, for a team in 7A to go play, a team that is going to contend for the 4A title, I mean, that's still kudos for them to even scheduling that game because I know a lot of teams that wouldn't.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, when it just comes to regions and divisions and classifications, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are like, we're going to stay right where we want.
Yeah, we're going to look to buy a dub. Yeah. And speaking of getting a dub, how about this? Theodore looking to get their first victory on the year. They were 0-3 coming into this game on Thursday night. So was Baldwin County. And so really a crucial matchup for both of these teams, trying to get ahead a little bit in a very, very tough 6A Region 1. But the Bobcats at home, able to pick up this win. Here's Jamarius Morris on the touchdown run. They're fired up, ready to get some offense going for sure. It's been a little bit of a struggle for Theodore on the offensive side, and then making defensive plays as well in this game. You'll see it here, the pick. And then J.J. Bush, we have that touchdown. It'll run in just a minute. He had 3 touchdowns on the day as Theodore gets the victory 28-7 over Baldwin County. And Baldwin County is they're better than they have been in a good minute. New coaching staff, a lot of key players there. So a good win for Theodore and for Coach Mask. I know they were looking for it, and they earned one there.
Yeah, absolutely. They needed that win. You could tell when they played on Thursday that they needed that win, and they played like they did. And so it was dominant. We had our guy Jeremy Jones out there.
Yeah, Jeremy's killing it, man.
I mean, he said he was even shocked by the final score of this game. He really believed that it was going to be a close one, just considering.
And he is the expert of high school football. Make no mistake about that.
See, that's the thing. Like, I agree with him, and I'm like, this guy, with all due respect, love you, Jeremy, but he doesn't know ball like that, and he was calling it out, and I was like, wow, well.
And tonight he was pumped up to be over at LaFleur to see their big win.
Absolutely.
Guys, we're getting close to midnight here. I want to quickly go over some of these scores, our game of the week. Big winners. Are you going to pull up the score sheet while you're at it there,
no
Pat? Pat O'Donnell, by the way, doing a great job filling in for Gerhard Mathangani. Want to give him a shout-out for sure. Appreciate all of his efforts behind the scenes and getting his chance to be out here talking some ball, get his face on camera. Otherwise, he's just behind the scenes making us look like we know what we're talking about. So a big matchup in Citronelle and Williamson. The Lions get the overtime victory, 28-26 into that game. In 6A, the battle of the powerhouse programs there. Saraland, though, is the elite powerhouse program at this point. 42-17. Spanish Fork gets the win over Saraland. Gulf Shores, McGill-Tulane at the Lip. Gulf Shores earns their first win of the season, and a big win because the Yellow Jackets were feeling very good about life after last week and their win over Theodore. And regardless of the rain and the kicker situation, our Jack O'Neill was amazing, 6 of 6 in that game. And then, for Gulf Shores to come in and to not just back down, you got to tip your hat to Coach Hudspeth and the company for rallying the troops. And Colin Wilson balled out in the game, guys, 4 touchdowns, 200 yards. Not bad.
I mean, again,
not bad.
Gulf Shores pounding the rock, and they're not going to stop. They're literally saying, we are going to do this time and time again. Please try and stop us.
Yes,
we dare you.
That's the truth. St. Michael gets a big victory over Satsuma. Gunner Rivers balled out in that game. No telling what his stat line ended up looking like. Viger beats UMS in a game that I thought was a little bit closer than what we thought it was going to be. That was in 5A. I think 2 teams that and Viger is probably the best team in that class. UMS certainly looking to stay in playoff contention. 30-14, Viger gets the win in that game. Davidson and Fairhope, would be remiss to not mention that. Fairhope beats Davidson 42-25, but it did seem like the Warriors were able to get a couple things going offensively, so that's always a good sign. So kudos to both teams in that game. Daphne beats Foley to stay undefeated, or not, I shouldn't say undefeated in 7A. They lost to MGM, but Daphne's still in control, so to speak, of their own destiny, which is always big when it comes to playoff contention. Absolutely. MGM is the truth in 7A. They get the win over Robert Steele, 41-3. BC Rain beats Alberta in a tight battle there. Alberta, man, Coach McDaniels does such a good job, and has just such a classy, quality run program, such a man of faith, and just a good guy. And so cheering for him. And on the other side, BC Rain equally, Coach Yelding, honestly, probably one of the best dudes I've ever known. And so, a tough battle there. But nonetheless, a lot for both those teams to be proud of. And the Red Raiders come out on top in that game, but a big win in region play nonetheless. LaFleur beats Faith in 5A. That's a big one for LaFleur. Orange Beach puts up 42 in a win over W.S. Neal. Got to be proud of that. And those are the games that we were following tonight. A top 10 matchup between Leroy and Sweetwater, and the defending 1A champs get the victory in 1A Region 1, 27-20.
Comeback fashion, too. They were down by one point, scored a touchdown, and then they went for 2 and got it. So,
really?
Yeah, big time there. Big time.
Nice.
Yeah,
well, good
gotta
stuff.
Give him credit.
Good stuff for Leroy, absolutely. Yeah. And T.R. Miller is definitely a force to be reckoned with in 3A. It's statewide. Their number 1 ranked team. They beat down Flomaton, I should say, 56-7. What other scores you got for us over there?
I've got Springville 21 over Alma Bryant 3. We've got Milry 55-0 over Marengo. Goodness. And then
Milry's good.
We talked about Hillcrest, they dropped the 50 burger tonight, 53-23 over Excel. St. Luke's 29-0 over Central Hayneville. Southern Choctaw blanked McIntosh 44-0. Thomasville 64-6 over Sumter Central. My goodness. Washington County 52-6 over Chickasaw. So,
yes.
Wow.
Shout out to Mrs. Robertson checking in on Fairhope. We just showed Jackson's touchdown just a little bit ago, so we will definitely we had that on the air, and a big win for Fairhope getting the dub over Davidson. So honestly, it's been a good week 4, I should say. I feel like we just started this season, so I'm not really sure how we're going into week 5, which is like the halfway point.
Yeah, no, we're flying through it.
It's not even October yet, but it really is, honestly.
It's so weird. It feels like it just started, and then now, again, we were talking about it earlier, it's like, now we're going to start figuring out the teams who are already in, like, playoff conversation. It's like,
how did we get here?
How? Like, I thought we just started.
Yep, we did. But listen, man,
that's
why you got to win. You got to win quickly, and you got to win fast. And so, guys, it's been a super, super fun 5th quarter. Just the last 4 weeks. Pat, I'm probably going to send you out to go kill the live stream while I wrap up the show. Is that how this works when we do it this way, or can you do it from here? How's that? I don't even know how this works.
Honestly, I could probably run over there real quick. But before I go, I just want to say, everybody go to WKRG.com. We have full coverage of all of these games, everything you need, highlights from Pete and Simone. Again, Gerhard not here. Guy loves to marry people.
He's officiating weddings, man. He's a man of many talents, guys.
When he told me about that, I was thinking,
okay, can I say something out loud, though? So I say to him, oh, okay, you're officiating a wedding. Football season. Who gets married in football season? Just kidding. That's fine. Whatever. Well, at least it's on a Friday, I guess, if you're a college football fan. I said, where's the wedding? He said, it's in Fort Walton. I said, oh, okay. So a few hours away. That's cool. Fort Walton Beach, right? That's nice. So a little bit later, he said, hey, you said it was a few hours away? I said, yeah, it's a few hours. Fort Walton. He said, no, it was not that far. Fort Morgan. I'm like, bro, you're officiating the wedding. Do you know where it's in Fort? It's Fort Morgan. That's not even the same state.
Yeah,
not even the same state.
Not the same state. Oh,
but it sounds like he made it. From what I heard tonight, it sounds like he made it. So
I hope so. I hope so. Or the wedding is going to be a disaster.
Someone else is going to have to call it.
Yeah. So I mean, he showed me his card last night that he's
very proud of it. Yeah. Yes, he's ordained.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
Shut up, Pat.
I might. You know what? I might have. No. When he told me last night.
Do you have future in this?
All I'm saying is when he told me last night, I was like, I might have to have Gerhard whenever I get married. Not for a long time, by the way. But whenever that happens, I might have to hit him up and say, hey, I need you to officiate my wedding. But
make sure he knows what city it's in.
Yes, I'm going to send him the exact location.
That would be ideal.
But again, before I go, make sure to go to WKRG.com. We've got Play of the Week. We've got all kinds of coverage on there. Go vote on the Play of the Week. We had a lot of votes last week. We were really excited about that. Just get over there, and you're going to see all the highlights, all the scores, everything you need to know from week 4 of the high school football season. So, again, thanks for joining, and thanks for having me, Simone. I appreciate it.
Pat, you killed it, man.
Hey,
appreciate you.
I tried. Let me know how I did in the comments. We love that.
Say nice things only.
If you say bad things, it is what it is. It's part of the job. But, I mean, that's how we roll here at WKRG. So.
Well, yeah, we just roll with the punches.
Yeah,
all of them.
We roll with the punches. So,
John, thanks for the love. Gabe. Go Dolphins. Absolutely. A big win for Gulf Shores. We've definitely shown them love in this show for sure. And like Pat said, head to our website. We have all of the recaps, the highlight recaps. We have scores. Vote for Play of the Week. We'll let you know who Player of the Week is next week, Coach of the Week, Band of the Week, Fan Cam of the Week.
Literally everything you can imagine. Everything you can imagine high school football coverage, we have it on WKRG.com right now.
And the best of it. The best of it.
Exactly. So I'm gonna head out. But
I'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, Simone, you wrap this thing up. I'll be out of here. But again, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also want to give a shout out to Peter Albrecht. He was fantastic tonight. He filled in for Gerhard on the air for fifth quarter, and so had a lot of humor, just had a lot of fun with that, and so be sure to check out those highlights. But for Pat, for Pete, for Gerhard, everybody here at WKRG, I'm Simone Eli, and we will see you next week.